And welcome to the broadcast. I'm your host, Tammy, also known as Unacceptable Canadian Girl. And with me are my two beautiful co-hosts, Suze, also known as Suze Creamy, and Ashleigh, also known as Fun Acceptable Views. And as always, we have our Jamie with us, also known as Perception Correction. How is everyone tonight?
Fantastic. I survived the eclipse.
Hello, everyone. I'm doing pretty good today.
I can still see everything's good.
That's awesome. Did you look at the sun, Jamie? Did you look at the sun?
I did.
So did I. I broke the rule.
I squirted sunscreen in my eyes.
I took a picture and a video.
Yeah, that's my favorite, is just squirting the sunscreen right in your eyes. Then you don't even need to worry about it.
SPF 2000.
2000.
Jamie, did you look directly into it without any eye protection?
Yeah, like kind of.
I'm not going to lie, I did too.
Just for like a little bit to make sure like I knew where my phone was recording, and then quickly looked away.
Well, yeah, I kind of had the protection of the clouds today because of climate change. So, you know.
Right?
We were clear sky here.
Were you really?
Well,
yeah.
Lucky you.
Oh,
we're still clear sky. Like it was blue sky all day.
Well, it's clear here now.
Interesting. Well, we all lived to tell the tale.
Yes, we did.
Yep, the world didn't end.
The world did not end.
There was
not yet.
There was no cyber attack.
Day's not over yet, guys.
I still have my banking, which I was kind of hoping like everything would get wiped out so I could start from fresh, but that's all right.
No cyber attacks, no earthquakes. What else was on people's bingo cards? CERN didn't vaporize all of us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Project Bluebeam something.
Yes. I was also hoping for a Project Bluebeam something. I mean, the possibilities were really endless.
I actually have an interesting story that I just heard about one of the previous crazy storms that we had up here. I might as well share it now, if that's all right, because I actually kind of thought something like that would happen again. So in February, we had a horrible thunderstorm up here. It was the worst one I've ever experienced, and it was in the middle of winter, which is fucked up. And so something really didn't seem right with it. And of course, I'm thinking HARP, and I still think that. But I was just talking to a neighbor on another island. So I do an air quotes neighbor because she's like really far away, but she's one of the only neighbors that we have up here. And basically, so during that thunderstorm, the lightning was terrifying. And we were just sitting in our house, and the lightning was striking, and it felt so close to here that I could feel like the hair standing up on my arms and my neck. And we had like cracking and popping in one of our outlets as we were just sitting here like, what the fuck do we do?
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. And the thunder was the loudest I've ever heard my whole life. It was terrifying. And my neighbor was saying, oh, well, the island next to theirs actually had a lightning strike, and they saw it, and it actually like struck the rock wall and broke it apart, and like a whole bunch of fragments of the rock like flew out onto the ice.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, with everything that was happening today and knowing that CERN was, being turned on and all this, I'm like, oh shit, we're going to have like crazy lightning. And I don't know. I just expected this insane sort of weather storm. But
so you had like a whole doomsday scenario.
I kind of did. Yeah,
she did. Like I said, the day's not over. There's still
even though I was literally outside today, so I didn't wear a mask over my eyes or anything. But
this is a look into Ashleigh's brain for the audience.
Well, okay, no, but the other thing is when we had COVID parent on last week when we were recording, his power went out from the wind, and then my power went out just after that, just after we
So did
finished
mine.
recording.
Yeah,
And
so did
it was the worst windstorm I've ever experienced in my life. I was terrified. I was laying in bed, like just straight as a board, like just petrified, like COVID parents. And I almost woke my hubby up because I was just like, I'm like, you can't wake him up for wind. I'm like, yeah, but this is crazy. Whatever's happening, like the trees were like just insane. And then he got up to go pee, and I'm like, oh, thank God. I'm so glad you're awake. I've been laying here afraid. He's like, okay. and then it's like, oh, that wind is pretty bad.
right?
So I wasn't very comforted. But so we've had these insane, and I kind of thought that was like a test run for whatever they were doing today. So I was wrong.
I like the inner battle that you had with yourself while you're laying in bed, though. I got to wake him up. You can't do that.
He's going to think you're crazy.
The struggle is real sometimes.
Okay, so Suze.
Yes.
You were going to do this episode.
I was going to do this episode. We were going to talk about the feminism scam, which we are still going to talk about, but we're going to do that next week instead, because unfortunately my horse pace for my tiny horse did not work. I really should have got the liquid instead. So I am still quite sick, unfortunately, coughing up a storm, which I will remember to mute myself when that happens. So Tammy, thank you for taking the reins today.
Oh, taking the reins. I like it.
See what I did there?
Yeah, well, just winging it, but hopefully everybody's wearing their masks because cyber transmission is real and we don't want what Suze has. So there's that. Although after this past weekend, we probably already have it because the three of us got shacked up together for the weekend. So there's that.
We did.
Yep, we
did.
sure did.
I tried my hardest not to cough on any of you.
I mean, we were sharing the same airspace, so probably happened.
I had 10 masks on, but I don't know. I had a little tickle in my throat today, so we'll see.
And you were boosted, obviously.
Of course.
Obviously.
So the reason why we were together is it was my birthday, and
yes, I was just
we had a beautiful time. These lovely ladies planned a surprise for me, and I was actually surprised. I'm surprised I was surprised. And we met up with a whole bunch of fellow Twitter unacceptables, and it was such a blast, and I really was surprised, and I loved it. I had so much fun. So thank you.
Can I just read a message from your husband that he sent me after the surprise?
Yeah.
He writes, I had fun. Ash loved it. Thanks for doing all this. Ash really loved it. And I said to him, I'm so happy she enjoyed it and was surprised. Thanks for your help. Then he laughs at me for saying thanks for your help. And I'm like, why the fuck are you laughing? You were helpful, damn it.
So the funny thing is,
I got no response.
we went to an escape room, and so there are a whole bunch of our fellow Twitter unacceptables waiting there. But the funny thing is, I knew that the three of us were getting together, the broads were getting together, but I didn't, and I knew there was some sort of like something planned, but the gals wouldn't tell me what it was. And so I was just kind of poking around because I've always wanted to go to an escape room, and I haven't gone yet. I'm a little behind the times there. So I was poking around. I'm like, oh, there are escape rooms around where we're going to be staying. So I sent it to the gals and said, hey, look, like, I don't know what else we're doing, but this looks like fun. So Suze was like, shit. She sent a message to my hubby saying like, shit, does Ash know? Like, she just sent me an escape room, a link to an escape room. What the hell?
Like, what the fuck did you tell her? He's like, I swear she knows nothing.
I was Jon Snow in that. I knew nothing, and I just really wanted to go. So you picked well.
Awesome.
And we were -1 unacceptable. Unfortunately, Jamie couldn't come to see us.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Next time.
Hopefully next time.
Yes.
Tammy's birthday's next. Just saying.
Whoop. In May.
And these awesome gals had t-shirts made.
Yes.
So I got sorry dad. They got a shirt made for my dad saying Ashleigh's dad, and they got shirts saying sorry Ashleigh's dad.
And
and
we surprised
fantastic.
you with your parents and got to meet Harold.
That's right, Harold.
Yes.
And
Kumar. We got some really awesome crew necks that have the broadcast across the front of them.
Yeah,
which is
and
fun
I wore
too.
it the last 2 days, both of them the last 2 days.
The last 2 days.
Yeah, so it was a good weekend. It was a good time. It was nice to see everybody again. Definitely lots of fun, and I always like when we can kind of get together and just chill out. It's a good time.
But
Agreed.
I have one quick question for the three of you.
Mhm.
Sorry, Jamie, you weren't there, so I can't ask you this. Did you bigots enjoy your steak or what?
Oh
yeah.
I did. Yes,
Yep.
definitely.
Good old red meat. It didn't kill me.
Didn't kill
So the
me either.
modeling's wrong on that.
Yeah, no, it's really good. So for today, I wanted to talk a little bit about abusive relationships. And there's one abusive relationship that I had in mind, and it is the Canadians' abusive relationship with their government.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the kind of happenings in Canada over the last few years are very much the same as an abusive relationship and how it kind of goes. And so I think, when Trudeau first came in, there was a lot of love bombing. And if you don't know what that is, love bombing is very common in abusive relationships. It's always at the beginning and it lasts anywhere from like 3 to 6 months, maybe. And it's where the abuser does just that. They love bomb you. It's all of the love, all of the time. And you are basically in this dopamine fantasy land. And then slowly over time, things start to, take a turn for the worse, but it happens so slowly, you don't even know that it's happening until it's too late. And oftentimes, by the time it's too late, you're in such denial about what's going on that you really don't see it. And so I know this because, and I'll share like kind of just a personal thing about me. I was in a very abusive relationship for quite a few years. And a lot of people don't know that about me. But that's exactly what happened in my situation. So I was, it was the love bomb thing and everything else. And then just slowly over time, things took that turn for the worst. And before I knew it, I wasn't even allowed to leave my house. I could go to work and I had to be home within a certain amount of time of leaving work. And if I wasn't, then, all hell would break loose. And you kind of go through these phases where, you think things are getting better and you think that they're, okay, maybe it's not as bad as it seems. And then it starts to happen all over again. And it almost is like a way of the abuser keeping a hold on the victim. And so I share this because I saw this very early on with this government, and also throughout COVID with, things like gaslighting, using the media to manipulate people and things like that. And it's an exact replica of what it actually looks like in real life in a relationship. So this has been happening to Canadians for quite some time. And we really saw that love bombing in the beginning. And then we slowly started to see things turn. But then every once in a while, you'd have something good come in. And, I often remember people saying like, oh, maybe things are taking a turn, or whatever the case was. And then, you know, it's one step forward, but then like 10 steps back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And now we're in this spot in Canada where it's so bad, I'm not sure we can get out of it. So
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I have my doubts.
Yeah, we're in, and I like to remain hopeful, and I don't want anybody listening to think, you know, like it's not worth the fight or anything like that. It is, and that's why we have this podcast, and that's why, you know, we talk about things like this. But, I think also we have to be realistic, and right now the state of Canada is not good. We're very, very, very quickly becoming a communist country. And I know that people don't like to hear that. And they like to say, oh, you don't know what communism is and blah, 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 blah. But yes, we are.
And it's hard to even debate that now. Like,
yes,
things are coming down the pipeline so quickly that I think even the people who didn't agree even 6 months ago might have a hard time challenging that with everything that's happening now.
Yeah, and it's like Jamie said last week, you don't just, you know, become a communist country overnight. You got to tiptoe towards that, right? So a lot of people don't see it as it's happening until it's too late. Right?
Exactly. And this is why I brought up the correlation between an abusive relationship, because you know, this is how this stuff happens and you don't realize it until it's too late. You don't realize it until you're not allowed to leave your home anymore. We're in a really bad spot in Canada, and people need to start waking up and looking at it for what it is. It's not going to get better unless the people get organized and decide to do something about it.
And I think
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
All I was going to say is I think that we aren't going to see change until the people come together and demand change. And I'm actually getting worried that we might get to a point where we don't get to vote Justin Trudeau out.
Yeah. And I think that's something that we were talking about last week with the Bill C-63 that is, you know, being, well, they're talking about it in the House of Commons. And the problem is that they wrap certain bills, you know, they have their specific concerns that are kind of should be a concern to many Canadians. And so say like with Bill C-63, it's the idea of it's the online harms bill, and it specifically talks about protecting children from child porn. And so of course that should be something that everyone is concerned about, but at the same time they wrap up so many other bullets within that bill that are way more insidious and they're meant to restrict our freedom way more than just the idea of protecting children from child porn. And so that's how they push through a lot of these totalitarian type of policies that we wouldn't normally be okay with, but they use language that makes it seem like they're not as bad at, you know, as you would think they are in the first place. But they are, because then, you know, down the road, they'll probably make another bill that kind of covers more area than the first one did. And so they get kind of a broader scope of power to control the masses from, you know, well, however they want to control them.
Well, look what they did today. They literally controlled so many people today regarding this eclipse. Like, it is absolutely insane. There was the post this morning by my husband regarding an employee that he has who wanted to leave early because of the eclipse. And what did he say? Well, people are saying to leave early. What people? Right? Like, what do you mean? And then he has another coworker who was supposed to go make a delivery. And she said, I can't go make the delivery because I can't drive right now because of the eclipse. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? What do you mean you can't drive because of the eclipse? Since when do you stare at the sun while you're driving? Since when? And they're like, what the fuck? And then I saw someone else post about how his daughter asked her friend to go outside and play. And she's like, oh, I can't, I'm not allowed because I might go blind. What? I remember back in the day when I was in school, there was an eclipse happening. I was number one in fucking school. Like school wasn't canceled for the day.
Yep.
And we were making those homemade freaking box eclipse.
The pinhole cameras. Yep.
Yeah. We were going outside with our teacher one by one and looking at the eclipse. Like what is happening?
It's honestly, it's insane. My neighbors are super crazy liberal. I think I've tweeted about them before. They have all of the flags, the trans flag, the pride flag, the Every Child Matters flag. They have a Toronto Maple Leafs flag also. They have all the flags. Yep. That one is right in their window. And then they have like the no home for hate or whatever that is. Love everybody, whatever. So these people, she's a nurse and these people are beyond batshit crazy, but they no shit kept their children home today. And I work from home on Mondays and I happened to go out into the backyard to let my dog out right as the eclipse was happening. And as I'm letting her out, I hear them saying like, get in the garage. You can't be in the, I'm not even joking. And I'm like, what the fuck is actually happening right now? And then at around, I think 4:30ish.
Tammy, I have a question.
Yeah.
Tammy, did you protect your dog's eyes from the eclipse?
No. Well, to be fair though, the dog that I was letting out is my oldest dog, and sadly she's mostly blind. So I mean, she was good to look at it basically.
Oh, so she would have been fine.
Yeah. Anyways, so then at 4:30 today, because I do 7 or 8K walk every single day. I was like, I got to go get my walk in because we're doing the podcast tonight. And I'm down in the park and it is the most beautiful day here today, like complete blue sky all day. It's been amazing. And there is almost nobody in this park. And this park on a regular day, if there's even like a hint of sunshine, it is completely and totally packed. And the park was basically empty. I couldn't believe it. This is how fearful people are.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
I literally went outside for the whole time just to see,
right?
just to experience what it was like, I guess. And I also,
someone...
as a kid, like looked at the eclipse.
I did too.
One of those rebels, like whatever.
I looked at it today. I give zero fucks. I'm not blind.
Well,
I'm still here.
I couldn't because it was cloudy, but
but
I would have.
Anybody who looks at the sun at the end of the day, if you stare at the sun, like you're not going to stare at it for long. Like you're naturally going to look away because of your eyes anyways. And that a kid would be the same. A kid's not going to like suffer and be like, I'm staring at the sun.
Gotta see what this is.
My eyes are burning, but I can't look away. Like, no. And I saw someone post a video of Niagara today. Now let's remind everybody that Niagara declared a state of emergency because they were, once originally, saying it's the place to view it. So come see it here. And they were, anticipating an influx of over 1 million people.
Come and spend $2,000.
This video showed like a dead
room.
Niagara Falls.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah,
we're an embarrassment as a country and a province. What an embarrassment.
And I actually think that they did that just to normalize the idea of invoking
100%.
a state of emergency for very benign things.
100%. I said this the other day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what they're doing. And look at I don't know if you guys knew about the states, but across the U.S., different states were going into state of emergency.
They did?
Yes.
Wow.
So on my way back from Barrie, somebody sent me a post and I'm going to see. Oh, I think it was Avogadro. Sent it to me. Just 1 second.
Heyo, shout out to Avogadro. Thanks for listening. I hope you're listening to this one.
I think it was him, but my stupid message history disappeared because it's been doing that lately. But anyways, it was like a person from one of the states saying like, during the eclipse, please make sure that you have like an overnight bag packed and that your electric car is charged, that you have a full tank of
car.
Yeah, that you have a full tank of gas, you have an emergency kit. And I'm listening to this and I'm like, what in the sweet hell do these people think is going to happen? Like, it's going to get dark for 4 minutes.
Well,
what is everybody afraid
not
of?
even pitch black dark.
No, it's not even dusk dark.
I really did think that they were going to use that as an excuse to do something else, though. I did. Like, I didn't think it was the solar eclipse, but like I actually
like
did
I said,
get some drinking water. We need to use a pump to get water up from the lake, and so I'm like, I'm gonna at least get some drinking water. Just a couple stores just in case. So like I did buy into it just because I don't trust our fucking government. And I know that they're doing HARP, and I know that they were turning on the CERN, whatever that stands for. But so to me,
and sending
like,
rockets into the sun too.
Yeah. And so I would rather be prepared and nothing happen as didn't happen, than to not be prepared, because and that really is like it's a perfect topic that you picked, Tammy, because that's what they're doing to us, where they're just keeping us on our toes, and we just don't trust anything anymore. And so we don't know what to do. And so even like when you hear them declare a state of emergency, I think that's ridiculous. But it makes me wonder what else they might have planned.
It makes me wonder the same thing. Like, at this point, I trust nothing. I don't trust anybody. I trust you guys. I just want to make that clear. But I don't trust anything that I see in the media. I don't give a shit what media outlet it is from, unless I know for sure it is an independent journalist that I know is unbiased. I don't care who they are. I don't trust it. I don't trust anything the government says. Like, this is the sad state that this country is in, and that the limits that people have been pushed to. And you're talking to somebody who, like, yeah, I've always been a little bit not conspiratorial, but like a little more awake to certain things and stuff. I talked about that in the first episode, but I was never this way. Like, they have driven me, and I think, well, obviously you guys and many others, to a point where like we just question everything. Like, the conversations that happen between the four of us, even in our group chat, sometimes I look and I'm just like, what has happened?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And
That's
even like the things that I sent, sorry, Suze, but I'll just say, like, the things that I sent to the group now, where I was like the conspiratorial one, kind of in the beginning. I'm like, oh, what do you think of this? Hey, what about this? Should we look into this? Like, just happens so fast.
We're watching Ashleigh turn into a conspiracy theorist in real time.
In real time.
Yeah. Suze, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, my like legit motto now is trust no one and question everything. Like, that is the way we have to live now.
Yeah. And Jamie, where are you at?
I'm here.
Yeah, Jamie, you rolling my joint?
I'm here. I'm rolling the joints, and I'm going to add on to some things here. So we keep mentioning how Canada's fucked, but it's globally. Pretty much.
Yes, I agree.
Like, I agree with you guys. Canada's fucked and all that stuff, but it is globally. And Ash went back talking about how that one bill being a Trojan horse for a bunch of other bullshit. It's like, for the US right now, they have like a ban TikTok bill happening, right? And everybody's like, yeah, hell yeah, let's ban TikTok. It's a fucking Chinese spy weapon or whatever. But at the same time, in the fine print of that bill, it gives the president the authority to pull any website at any time.
Wow.
What?
Written into that bill gives the president the authority to pull any website at any time if deemed an emergency or for the sake of homeland security or whatever the fuck, right? So if another whatever Hunter Biden laptop situation comes up in the next election for them, boom, down goes any website talking about that. Shit. If that bill goes through. Brazil is full-blown pulling accounts of dissidents and off the internet, whether it's media or civilian. And I don't know. I just think when they locked us down, and I mentioned this to Tammy before, for COVID, there's one thing they didn't take into account. They didn't take into account how many people would get interested and pay attention to what's going on, kind of see through things, and then learn on their own on how to record stuff, how to edit audio, how to edit video. And a bunch of little independent podcasts came out and independent researchers. And that number has grown so large right now where they're fucked. They're like, how do we stop all this?
Yeah, it's whack-a-mole.
Yes.
Mhm.
And actually, it's funny you mentioned that because I was talking to the account name is Diagolon Studios, and he said the exact same thing as what you did about they did not anticipate that people would just learn their own shit and start to do stuff, start to make videos,
becoming citizen journalists.
Yes. Yes. And I mean, like he said it verbatim. And even when he said it, I was like, this is not the first person to say this. Like, that's exactly what has happened. And I think it's the most amazing thing. Like, how many of you guys thought you'd be doing a podcast?
I mean, I like the idea of it, but I wouldn't have been talking about this shit.
Right?
Suze?
Yeah, like I've thought about it in the past, but like Ashleigh, like I never thought like these would be the topics and stuff that we would be talking about if I ever.
I never
were to
thought
do
it'd be
one.
political.
Yeah. 4 years ago, never for me.
Yeah. See, so I don't think any of us like that. This is something that we would have anticipated. And Jamie, like you're doing a whole other thing too. Like you've got your own channel on Rumble. It's on YouTube too?
Yep.
Yeah. I watched on Rumble, but Rumble, YouTube, like, did you think you were going to be talking about the Illuminati on Rumble?
Nope, absolutely not. But I don't know. For me, it's just like to understand what's going on today, you kind of have to go back and realize how we got here.
Yeah.
So that's the route that I took. I'm not saying that everybody should take it. I'm just doing me type thing. But for me personally, it's to start battling even more effectively present day. I personally feel like I have to get far more educated as far as what happened the last, 200, 300, 1,000 years. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also so an interesting thing is that my hubby and I, when we get up in the morning, over coffee, we watch all of our favorite people on either YouTube or Rumble. So like Viva Fry, there's one we like, Moose on the Loose. We like Russell Brand and Dr. John Campbell. And so it's kind of a strange thing because now all of a sudden we're like my old grandparents that watch the news again. And so we used to pride ourselves on having this low information diet, but that's a part of the problem. That's what got us into this mess, is that we weren't paying proper attention. And now we're actually kind of asserting our democratic rights to like being proper citizens again and bearing witness and like actually trying to dictate. That sounds like the wrong word to use, but we're trying to actually like help shape our democracy for once. It's not going very well.
No, but I wonder if it's because we've all just like gotten lazy and not cared for so long.
Agreed, for sure.
It's possible,
yeah.
Right? We've just kind of let them take over and do whatever. And
people are too comfortable, right?
Yeah, life was too good.
It's time to get uncomfortable.
And it shows even with the COVID thing, like when the vax mandates, for example, were being rolled out, and it's like I know countless people who originally had no desire to get vaccinated, but then they're like, oh well, I want to take vacation, or
I want to travel.
I want to go eat at a restaurant. It's like, God forbid your cushy, comfortable life is interrupted, a bit to like fight against this. No, you can't, skip that restaurant outing, or you can't skip taking your kids to the movies or whatever. Like they just couldn't do it.
Right. And again, it was the idea of the fear first, and then oh, well, I want to be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think too, the media plays a big, big, big part in this.
Huge.
100%.
And I mean, we can take many avenues with this. I always like the more conspiratorial side. I don't think that MK Ultra ever ended. I don't think that Mockingbird ever ended. I think it's now a hybrid, and they use the media and Hollywood and all of that for their brainwashing benefits.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
They are, and at this point now, if you're, and I think COVID Parent actually said it last week too, like they use all the buzzwords and stuff like that. And we laugh at it because we know what they're doing, but other people don't. And it is a serious topic of conversation in terms of, people actually being brainwashed. This is real. Like my mom is a good example of this.
Yeah.
Like all she watches is the Church of CNN of Latter-day broadcasts. It is on her TV all the time. It is nonstop.
And they don't realize, somebody in my life, they think that the CBC is still independent. They still think it's publicly funded. And it's like, publicly funded is different than taxpayer funded. Like this isn't something that we're funding by choice. Like they used to have the CBC telethons, and it's like, no, like you gotta please donate to keep this, keep this publicly funded so that, we can keep providing the truth to Canadians. And then that didn't happen, and they were going under. And then the government decided to kind of like usurp that broadcasting system and use it for propaganda. So now they get paid by our taxpayer dollars. And so they don't have to worry about the information that they spew out. They're paid no matter what from our taxpayer dollars.
Exactly.
Yes. And people still don't see it, but this is brainwashing on a mass scale.
And it's $1.6 billion that they get every year. $1.6 billion. And that doesn't even include some of the government ad revenue. That's not even included in the $1.6 billion.
And don't forget all of the bailouts and stuff too, right? So even the media companies that, make their own money, so to speak, they all received bailouts. It's common knowledge. You can Google it for yourself. Go take a look. But every news media company in Canada took a bailout. So typically anyways, you don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're getting a couple $1 million from the government to keep your business afloat, are you then going to turn around and write a hit piece on Justin Trudeau? Probably not. Are you going to jump when the government says jump? Probably.
Yep.
And that's what we're seeing. There's no truthful media anymore. And I don't care who you think is trustworthy, the left, the right, whatever. It's two sides of the same coin. And if you can't see that, you're not awake. And some people are not going to like that. I don't care. I give zero fucks at this point, because we are in we're in our own state of emergency in Canada. And the emergency is
we're declaring it.
Yeah. It's a real emergency, and we need to get these people out of power now. And Jamie's right too. It's across the world. This is happening on a global scale, but I'm a big fan of worrying about my own country right now, and we need to do something. The media is lying to you. I don't care if it's left or right. They're both lying. They both have their own agendas that they're pushing. They both have people that they're taking money from, whether people want to believe that or not. You can do the digging and find that information out yourself. But they're all corrupt, every single one of them.
Yep. Very true.
And so I'm sure people are going to be upset with me saying that. I don't care.
Well,
it's
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's time to wake up. Oh, what's Jamie got up here?
I just wanted to bring this up in the sense of, like, if the media does lie, from what I'm gathering, all they have to do, this is CBC specifically, on this portion of their website, they have a corrections and clarification section. And so what stops them from just knowingly lying and then just coming on here and then look at this list?
Oh my gosh.
Look at this.
Wow.
These are, look at this.
No one's going to go and check that.
Right. But then they just come here and they tell you about, oh yeah, remember that time we said, 4 people died in Ukraine? It was actually 9. Remember that time we said.
We corrected it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
so what are some of these on? Oh my gosh. This is why we don't pay you, Jamie.
Pick a random one, Jamie, from 2021.
2021.
Read what it says.
Let's get into the COVID stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, around the time the vax mandates were going out. And
Here's
stuff.
a vaccine hesitancy thing. An editor's note was added to the top of the story published on September 11th about vaccine hesitancy. A previous version featured only one expert's opinion on the possible reasons behind vaccine hesitancy, and the story was updated to better reflect a range of views. It also previously included comments from the organizer of a vaccine mandate protest that were unrelated to the focus of this story. The organizer had not been interviewed about the psychology of vaccine hesitancy and should not have been included in the piece. You pieces of shit.
Wow.
And just so everybody knows, that was a random scroll he was doing. I just grabbed whatever I saw on the screen.
Yep. And then how I just rifled off the top of my head the Ukraine example while you guys were talking, I was looking through this, and there was something in like the 2022 section where they pretty much corrected the amount of fatalities that they said in a certain scenario was incorrect.
Wow.
So just boost it up, hit people in the feelings a little harder than you normally would, and then just come on this webpage over here and say, "Whoops, my bad. It was actually this."
That's insane.
What's this?
We almost
one
need to start covering some of these, just so that they're put out in the public domain. Start like reading through and like telling the world what the corrections are, just so that it just gets out there.
Oh,
look at the bottom one, Jamie. Go down to the October 12th one, because I saw. Looks like they're talking about Manny Mannequin. An on-air clarification was broadcast on CBC Edmonton's TV programs and posted to social media about footage that was included in an October 7th story about COVID case modeling in Alberta. The story included 6 seconds of footage showing mannequins in beds in a realistic hospital setting. These images had been shot in September at an Edmonton area hospital training facility to illustrate the nature of ICU wards and should not have been used out of context in the October 7th story.
And nobody's going to come and look at this and they're just going to take what they saw at face value.
100%. Okay, so Jamie, can you save the link for this so that we can post it? So what we'll do is when we post this episode on Sunday, we will include the links to this page for all of the CBC corrections, so you guys can go and see it for yourselves. And we'll have them available for the audience on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, everywhere that we podcast to. That is wild.
And then
we're all going to
be blocked by CBC on Monday.
I've been trying really hard, but they won't block me.
We should start having a CBC correction section, and we could all pick like one of our favorites. And then
Perception Correction should do a correction section.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was way too many actions for my liking.
I hope you don't have an erection.
not with this content.
Not yet.
Not with this content.
Sorry, Dad.
Sorry, Ashleigh's dad.
Oh boy, sorry, Harold.
Anyways,
sent you guys the link in our Twitter group chat thingy, so there you go.
Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome.
So that's pretty wild. So that just kind of solidifies what we were talking about about the media just kind of doing what they want and brainwashing people. They just put whatever they want out there. It's fear mongering. It's almost like they're herding us like cattle towards a certain outcome, and it's so gross.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even with the stuff today. So with the solar eclipse. And we talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but like I've seen an eclipse before. I don't know how many, but like I've seen for sure one.
Me too.
And I was never told to be fearful. And then today people are staying indoors. And when I got up this morning, you know, I was going to go to Twitter first thing because that's what I do. But just as I was logging onto my phone, all the news articles came up and every single one was something about the eclipse and like stay inside and all fear mongering shit.
I actually saw, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Someone had posted, it was hilarious. Oh, where is it? It was like from a doctor, and someone like she posted like, oh, people have been asking me where we can, if we offer glasses to watch the solar eclipse. I would not recommend watching it at all. It's not worth the risk, you know, some shit like that. And I was like, is this fucking for real? Yeah, here it is. It says our office is receiving calls asking whether we are selling solar eclipse viewing glasses for the eclipse on Monday. I do not recommend viewing the solar eclipse at all, regardless of glasses approved or not. It's not worth the risk. What?
Wow.
Like, wow.
So I kind of wanted to touch on something, just like, you know, pertaining to the idea of fear and the demoralization that we're facing because of our government and the media. And after this weekend, spending the time with you girls and being surrounded by so many like wonderful people, having that surprise and you know, like I don't even know how to describe the feeling of joy when I walked into that escape room and seeing all of these amazing people, like White Wabbit Warrior was there, and Spire 868, and well, actually, I guess I can say their names because they have their own podcast, Planting Seeds. So like Aaron and Marty were there, and so many others, and like I felt a feeling of like joy that I haven't felt in a very, very long time. And it made me realize how demoralized I've gotten, even though like I have a very sunny disposition, and I make light of a lot of stuff, but actually for once feeling that levity and that joy that just hasn't been there in such a long time, I realized how dark my my psyche has gotten over time. And I didn't actually realize it until I felt that moment of just love, and I don't know, like it's crazy. You don't know what you've got until it's gone, and that was a moment of, oh wow, look what they've taken from me.
Yeah, look what the abusive husband you have, the government, I mean.
Yeah, not my husband. He's
not
lovely.
your actual husband. Look what that abusive relationship has done to us, right? You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's funny. It's not funny, but it's funny that it takes those situations sometimes for us to take a step back and realize like how bad things have really gotten. And you know, like the first time we met at Aaron's in December, early December, I think it was. Ash, even then I noticed like you were kind of reserved. And not in a bad way. Just you were just a little bit reserved. And I noticed this time, and we had talked a lot, like just so everybody has the background, like we've all been talking about birthing this podcast since like September 2023. So leading up to December, like we talked many times on the phone, and you know, we're in group chats and whatever. So it, you know, there was really no reason to be reserved. But then it's funny because you actually were saying this to us earlier about how you realized what you've kind of missed and stuff like that. And I noticed that about you this past weekend too, where you just seemed so happy.
Yeah, and that's not even like the extent of how happy I used to be. Like even that was reserved compared to how I was when I used to vote green and know nothing about the world. Ignorance is bliss. It's true.
And you know, I think what's really cool about doing some of these meetups is the feeling of just being able to kind of be yourself. And I don't have an issue talking about these. I mean, I try to red pill people all the time. I give 0 fucks at this point. Think I'm crazy if you want. I do not care. But there's a comfort in being with people that are on the same page as you and that see what you're seeing. And I think I said that when because who was it? It was Suze, Ashleigh, Avogadro, and Ted. I think we're still sitting around at the table at that point.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, I feel more comfortable with a lot of you guys than I do with a lot of the people that are in my personal life, because they're just not on the same page as me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
A lot of my people I say in air quotes, like my old friends or family don't even know I have a podcast because I don't even want to tell them.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Sure.
It's hard to, you know, and again, I'll red pill anybody all day long. I've got no problem sharing the information, but there's a difference between, you know, having to have those conversations all the time with people than just being comfortable with a group of people that are on the same page as you and actually being able to relax. And you could almost see when we all finally, you know, got together in a room and got to sit down and eat dinner, you could see kind of the stress melt away from everybody, where it was like everybody could get comfortable and we could just talk. And it, you know, you're not considered a crazy person. You're not anything. You're just having conversation. I think the wait staff
probably thought we were crazy.
on Rouge thought that we were batshit crazy
When you brought in the plastic straws.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So for anybody listening, we went to the steakhouse Baton Rouge in Barrie, and when we got our drinks, they brought us all paper straws, and I was like, "This is not going to work for me." So I keep a stash of contraband in my car.
Contraband.
And I went out and just grabbed a huge handful of these neon straws, and then I came in and started passing them out to people, and you know, everybody got their straw and everything, but there was still a big handful of them left over, so we left them for the wait staff.
I'm sure they threw them
to
out.
other patrons. They probably did. I think they thought we were crazy, but I didn't see it, but Suze for sure did. I got the stare down when I brought the straw.
The hostess is looking over at you like, what the fuck? That's hilarious.
So I just wanted them to understand that they're not illegal now. Like, we can have plastic cutlery, we can have, you know,
Which I think,
plastic straws.
We mentioned that to the one waiter. We're like,
I don't know if he was listening
anymore.
He was not having any of what we were giving. Like, not even a little bit. He like wanted us out of there. He was like, thank fuck when we walked out, for sure. He wanted nothing to do with us. Nothing.
Yeah, he wasn't happy when I ordered another drink.
No, and he was very quick to be, and to be clear, we were not being rowdy or any.
No.
Well, maybe Sue.
Suze was
No, I wasn't.
There were a few extra F-bombs, even more than normal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Suze had a little bit of wine, a little bit,
just a little.
But yeah, he was not picking up what we were putting down. That is for sure. But somebody needed to let them know that the plastic straws were no longer illegal, and so we achieved that. We did that. We made sure that he knew by the time we were leaving. I don't even know how we got onto this topic, to be honest. But
well, we were talking about just like
getting
the
together.
idea of being together.
Yes.
And you know what?
Yes,
like,
that's right.
I was so happy that my parents got to meet everyone, because I've been talking about all of my friends that I've met on Twitter to my parents because they're awake and awesome. They actually helped wake me up along with my awesome auntie. And I'm so happy that I actually have like a Telegram group with my parents and my aunt and my cousins who were almost like the only ones who weren't vaccinated. And so we've been chatting for years about stuff and just kind of passing stuff back and forth. And so I think it was really awesome to finally like get my parents to meet some of the people that I've been telling them about. And that definitely added to it, like seeing my parents there and being like, yeah, these are my peeps and you're welcome here too, you know.
You want to hear something funny?
Yes. Always.
Ashleigh, did you know that your mom has a thing for my husband's hair? She apparently went up to him all quiet and she was like, I like your hair. And he's like, thanks. You want to touch it, don't you? And she's like, I do. Oh, it was hilarious.
Yeah, my mom's awesome.
Your
Really
parents are amazing. Your mom, like, I just want to give her hugs and kisses and squishes. Like, she's the sweetest human being, and your father too. Like, just amazing people. I'm so glad we got the chance to meet them. Like, it made my night.
Yes.
And I know they're probably listening to this. So
I'm not sorry, Dad. I'm not sorry, Dad.
We are not sorry, Ashleigh's dad.
All right. Well, that was quite the love fest.
It really was. They're amazing. They really are. They really are. Anyway, so going back to the media and their fear mongering and their bullshit, where do we go from here?
I think we're doing it.
We're doing it. What do you mean? Explain yourself. Explain.
The broadcast. We are the independent media. We are the ones, not just us, but like this is the way forward, and we're a part of it. And I think that even the more podcasts that sprout up, the better, because it's going to be harder to shut us down the more voices that there are. And you know, different people have different tastes in how they like to get their information, and so we might not be everyone's cup of tea, but there are lots of other podcasts out there and maybe that's your cup of tea, or maybe you already know, maybe you're farther down the rabbit hole than we've gone, and so there's something missing from the broadcast, but maybe someone else kind of ticks those boxes. Who knows? But I think that's it.
I think that's very well said, and I really like that. Actually, I'm a huge fan of podcasts. I think that you're 100% right. If there's anybody out there that's thinking of doing a podcast, do it. It's like it's weird at first, and I think you're kind of nervous and stuff. I know we were. But then as you keep going, you just keep getting better and better, and it gets more and more fun. Like, I look forward to doing this every single Monday. And I think you're right. This is the way that we get to people. And, it's right now, it's really the only way, unless you're able to do, video stuff and stuff like that. And I think too, Jamie, perception correction, stuff like that as well. Like, he's putting stuff out there and taking people like back in time to explain all of these things that kind of got us to where we are today. And there's something to that, because we need to understand that. But definitely this is the way to get to people, until of course they ban podcasts, which, hopefully they don't, but then maybe we go on tour, because they can't ban us in person.
Well, and I don't know if they can do like a blanket ban though either, right? So it might be like certain podcasts get shut down, but then maybe, look at you, Tammy, tomorrow you're going on Big Puff podcast. And so there's like different crossovers where this is almost like a sort of we're doing things on the down low here, where we're making our own connections, and we're all sort of like just chatting in different ways. And so what happens if they shut down the broadcast at some point? It could happen. But then, like we've also been heard on Big Puff. Suze has been on, I've been on, you're going on tomorrow. Suze is going on again in a couple of weeks. And so it's like we're all kind of just spreading out the tentacles. So it's going to be hard to shut everything down, I think.
Yeah, the only way they can accomplish that is like a full-blown cyber attack, and they disconnect us from the world completely. And then that's when we got to go on tour and make flyers.
That's the one that scares me. I was talking to Avogadro about that, actually, because we were just kind of going back and forth about the eclipse and stuff. And I said, like, what do we do if that happens? I feel like we all, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, like publicly. I feel like we need, hey, if everything goes down, we wait this long. And if it's not back up by this time, this is where we meet.
Or like ham radio.
Let's do it.
Right?
We got to put the plan in place.
What do we do? And I was kind of thinking about that when we were all together on the weekend, because, I'm kind of the furthest out from everybody. And I'm like, if something goes down, like I need to get to my people.
You're right. And you wouldn't even know where to go. Like we haven't talked about like where we actually live. I mean, you would know errands, but
Yeah. Like I have the general idea. For sure I could get to Aaron and Marty.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know how to get to you guys. So I feel like that has to be a conversation within the group, and not just us, but like, everybody has like their circles or whatever. Right. And I feel like that's a conversation that circles need to have, like, hey, if shit goes down, let's meet here or wait this amount of time. And
when the shit goes down.
Love Cypress Hill. Gotta be ready.
We're coming to Ashleigh's Island. We're gonna hide out,
right?
There.
Honestly,
I mean, it's like a built-in moat, right? So it's not a bad option,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. So, Ashleigh, we're gonna need you to put your address in the group chat.
I am not dropping the pin in the links below.
She's like, I will tell you, and you will need to write it down.
Jamie, you're quiet. What are all your thoughts on this?
I agree with everything you're saying.
Coming to the island?
That's literally what I have to add.
All right. Awesome. We'll see you there.
All right. I'll be there.
With joints, obviously.
And then, like that is an interesting thing. Like we don't want to sound crazy. So we don't really exactly want to like bring these sort of subjects up, like, oh, in the case of emergency. Yeah. But at the same time, like, today, I got water. I got drinking water. I just got a couple of, bottles of water. Not that I can't. We actually have like a ceramic filtration system that we can do by hand if we need to from the lake. So we are fine, but it's a lot of work. You got to pump a lot of water to get a little bit of drinking water. So it seems a little bit silly, but I got some drinking water today, and it's like, okay, so now I have some drinking water for the week when I go into work. Not a big deal. So I think there's like there is something to being prepared, but not going overboard and being fearful.
Yeah, I agree. Like we're not and not that there's anything wrong with this, but we're not preppers.
Yeah.
I don't have an underground bunker, despite my tweet today where I said I was hiding in my underground bunker.
Yeah, we're not
awaiting death.
We're not buying 75 cases of toilet paper.
Yeah. It's nothing like that. But I don't think that there's any harm in being prepared. And I think that those are the discussions that need to be had. If we've learned anything over the last 4 years, it's that they will pretty much do anything to fuck with us.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not afraid to kill us, because we saw that with the vaccines.
Exactly.
We are totally getting fact checked on YouTube this week. It's gonna happen. But they don't care. They're not afraid to do these things, and they're not taking any responsibility for it. So that should make everybody fearful. Like we need to be preparing for these things. Ashleigh, you've got the water. I make pickles, so I have all the pickled things. We're surviving off of like pickled beets and beans and pickles and jalapenos. Like I've got it all.
Oh, what do I do?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Suze, what you bringing to the table?
I gotta think about it.
Horse paste.
Horse paste.
Yeah. And then Jamie, he's telling us like the origin of everything and probably what their next steps are.
And then I can cook, butcher.
Yeah.
He is a cook. He is a cook. I'll bring my mom. You and my mom can cook up a storm.
My husband is literally MacGyver. He is, I don't know how he knows what he knows, but he figures so much shit out. He knows electronics. He knows like plumbing systems. He knows how to build. He knows how to, I don't know. He's like, I don't know. It's kind of a superpower, just being himself.
Nice.
So we're basically set then.
Yeah, pretty much. Except
this.
we don't know how to fish, and we live on a lake, so that's.
I know how to fish.
I can fish.
Sweet.
I can also fish.
There we go.
I can eat the fish.
and I can shoot guns.
Awesome.
So we're good. I'll bring home the foods. And then Jamie can butcher them.
Yes.
We've got like a solid foursome here.
Yeah.
I've actually wondered about like, I don't know, like maybe just bringing over some rabbits just for shiggles and seeing what happens. We could have like a ton of rabbits in no time.
Are you like, hold on. What?
I feel like PETA's going to come after me.
Like you want to just bring rabbits to the island as like a just in case?
Yes, because they keep like multiplying.
Yeah.
Dude.
Rabbits are delicious.
Correct.
Oh, I can't. I can't do that.
You've never had a rabbit?
Dude, I've had pet bunnies like my whole life. This is not a conversation I'm interested in.
I get it. If you've had a pet bunny, like I could understand.
Fucking terrorists.
But rabbit's delicious.
Correct.
Right, we'll do chickens instead.
Jamie, do you cook rabbits?
Jamie, don't answer that.
Have I before? Yes. And then I also had a pet rabbit when I was younger, but it ran away, so I'm fair game for eating rabbits because fuck that rabbit.
Oh my god.
Oh.
My mother she grew up with chickens, and she had this pet chicken when she was a kid, and like this little chicken that she loved, and she named the chicken and everything. And then one day the chicken was gone.
Never name them.
Yeah. So one day the chicken was gone, and then she found out that her mother killed the chicken, and it was on the menu for dinner that night. Anyways, fast forward. Now my grandmother, my uncle, they have killed chickens their whole lives. My mother can't do it. My mother cannot physically kill the chicken. Like she just cannot. However, my mother owned a chicken restaurant for 10 years and had no issues selling and eating chicken.
Yeah, I mean, I get that though. Like, I don't want to harm the chickens myself.
Yeah, she's like,
PETA's coming for us today.
Not you. They're coming for me.
Yeah. I don't want to like hurt the animals, but I'm down to, most of the time I'm down to eat them. The things I will not eat are ducks because I think they're cute, rabbits because I think they're cute, lambs because I think they're cute.
Oh my god, you're naming so many delicious things.
Also, probably one of my favorite animals is a cow. Like I love cows. I think they're so freaking cute. But I still eat them though.
So that's the only cute animal that you'll eat.
Yeah, but even sometimes like, sometimes I feel guilty about it, but then I'm like, this steak is so good.
So I'm the type
Have
of
you
person.
seen this?
Go ahead.
Have you seen the Simpsons episode where Homer he has a pet lobster named Pinchy, and then he ends up eating Pinchy at the end?
Yeah. I remember that.
No, I don't watch The Simpsons because I'm convinced it's a psyop and Matt Groening was on Epstein Island. But anyways, go ahead, Sue.
Shit.
So I'm the type of person that will try pretty much almost anything. I will not eat cat or dog or horse.
Who does that?
Oh God, when we were in Italy, we were so
People do
afraid
that.
of like they have chevaleries where
What's
it's
that?
a butcher that sells horse meat.
So
And
apparently
it's on the
horse-
menu too.
Yeah, horse meat apparently is actually like it's so high in protein or something. I know. So my husband knows someone who had to actually ate it because of a condition that she had, and it was like it helped her. I personally myself, I can't do it, and I think it's because I would legit like own a horse if I had the opportunity. Same with cats, dogs, whatever. It's like those animals I won't touch, but I will try anything. So funny story, we were at Blue Mountain. This is like back when I was dating my husband. And does everybody know what a beaver tail is?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if the listeners don't know, it's a pastry that's the shape of a beaver tail, covered with deliciousness, right? Now at the time, I did not know what the fuck a beaver tail was. And my now in-law, she was like, "Okay, guys, we're gonna go for a beaver tail." I'm like, "Beaver tail?" And I'm like, and they're like describing it, and I'm listening, and I'm like, "Oh, it's not an actual beaver tail." And they're like, "Who the fuck would eat beaver tail?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm down. I'll try it. And they're like, "It's probably illegal in Canada to eat a beaver tail."
Oh, that's true. It probably is.
And
Because
I'm
I'm
like,
sure
"Hey,
people to eat
I
a goose.
I'd still try it."
Ew, no, not me. Not me. I wouldn't eat a horse either.
No, I can't. I can't.
I stick
No.
like mostly to cows, chickens, turkeys,
I'm
pigs.
surprised you won't eat duck though.
Nope. I like
Would you
ducks
eat,
a
like-
lot.
Like quail and like other birds like that.
No, that seems weird. Okay, listen. Actually, I don't like deer meat. I think it's gross. Like I've eaten that and it bothers me to eat that too because I think they're cute, but I've eaten it and I just think it's gross. I'm not a picky person. I'll eat absolutely anything. I will try anything once. To be totally honest, I guess if rabbit was presented to me, I'd have a hard time doing it, but I would try it to try it. But then I'd probably, even if I liked it, I probably would never eat it again.
Let's face it, we're talking about like pretty dystopian times here. If you guys are living on the island with me, and I have an island full of rabbits, so
And that's our only option.
You'll probably eat what's served to you.
We got really invested in this.
We are not turning to cannibalism, okay?
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. No,
And we will not eat the bugs.
No, we
I
will
don't want the
not.
bugs either.
No, if it came down to it and I had to do it, for sure I would, but like I don't have to do it, so I don't do it. But I also I love good food. I'm very much a foodie. I love to go out to different restaurants and just like try all the things. So if it came about, yeah, I'd try it. It's just never really come about. I'm always at places with more normal options, we'll say.
Normal option.
Normal.
On Ashleigh's island in the dystopia future that we just spent 20 minutes creating, I definitely eat the rabbits.
Has anyone here eaten alligator?
Yes,
And wasn't it delicious?
it was so good. I feel like my yes was really excited about that. but
Yeah,
it was
yes.
really
Super
good.
thrilled.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
deep fried when I had it, so of course anything deep fried is good.
Right? Yeah, alligator's delicious. Also, I had shark.
Ooh.
So,
Interesting.
once upon a time when you could go to I don't know if you still can or not, but Superstore, you could get the fresh shark steaks because they had that fresh seafood thing that I don't know if they still do it or not. But yeah, I had shark steaks and they were amazing. Amazing.
So
I haven't had shark, but I've had swordfish, and it tastes like steak. It tastes like it.
Really?
Unlike any other kind of meat I've had, where it's like steaky, but there's a lightness to it. Swordfish is delicious.
I need to try that. I love seafood.
I've had pig brain before.
I
As a
have
child.
not.
And I loved it. Loved it.
I had cow heart.
Wait, what did you have, Suze?
Pig brain. I was in Europe and they had killed the pig that morning. The neighbor from where I was staying, they killed the pigs that morning. That afternoon, the neighbor came by to give us pig brain.
I feel
And
like
it
that's
was-
probably the
Because-
healthiest way to go. Like it's
And it-
probably all of the good things that you get from vitamins, because we only eat like muscle meat over here in the West.
Mhm.
That's probably what you're supposed to be eating.
It was delicious. It really was.
Like how? Please explain. How is that?
So there are
How is
different
that
ways.
served?
There are different ways to cook and serve pig brain. The way that I had it was almost like croutons. Like they were kind of, that's the only way I can describe it. It did actually kind of had this hard skin on one side that you weren't supposed to eat, but it had the resemblance of kind of like a crouton, the crunchiness to it. However it was cooked, I'm not 100% sure. I was like 8 years old. But yeah, you could totally like top your salad with that shit. and eat it.
I just went to Indiana Jones where they were eating the monkey's brains. So that's all I pictured.
No. The one thing that we do eat in my culture, which is tripe, which is cow stomach, I'm not a fan of that at all. Like at all. It's disgusting to me.
Okay.
And liver.
Wow.
I don't like liver. No liver.
Ew, liver's the worst. You know what? Liver is a real bitch. So I have a real like bone to pick with liver.
Harold loves
Because-
liver, by the way.
Oh, Harold.
Come on.
So when I was a kid, my mom would cook liver, and like she liked it, but she likes a lot of weird shit. But she would cook liver, and so I would get home and it smells
I can't stand the smell.
so good. Oh my gosh. I can't speak for you, but the way that my mom cooked it, it smelled amazing. So I'd like come home from school or whatever, and this would be cooking, and I'm like, like what are we having? And then it would be liver, and I was like, fuck that shit. And I wouldn't eat it because it's like it's almost like a weird, like it reminds me of pate or something. Like it's mushy. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, it is. That
I
is
don't remember
pate.
it being mushy. Again,
Um,
I'm sure it depends on how it's cooked. I remember my dad used to cook it all the time, and I couldn't stand the smell. I knew right away. I would walk in the door, and I knew I'd be like, "Oh shit, he fucking cooked liver,"
So gross.
and I'd be like,
But
"Well, I'm not
this is-
eating tonight."
This is also from a woman who, like, my mom
How
would
did we
sit
get
with
here?
like I don't know, but my mom would sit with those.
We're still on the
stupid-
island.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but the island doesn't have pate.
Does now.
It does now. From the rabbit's
enough.
livers.
Ew. Okay, so my mom would eat like gross. The tubes of what is it? Like is it meat? What is pate? You know, like the meat tubes, and then you spread it on cracker. Like what is that?
I love
Jamie?
that. I love it.
The
That's,
pate
yeah,
is
it's
so
liver.
Yeah,
It's
pate.
pork liver.
it-
Yep.
Is liver, yes.
I
the other
literally-
Liver with
way-
fat and other things. But yeah, it's all blended together, cooked sometimes in a tube in water.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I can eat that by itself without even a cracker. I love that shit.
Ew.
And I actually literally do, because I feel
Ugh.
like we eat too much muscle meat, and we need the we need organ meat in our diet.
The awful cuts, they're called.
Awful. I know I was gonna say awful, and I'm like, I don't know, people won't understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's OFFAL.
Or
You know what I
A.
just saw?
Or A.
I looked it up, and it said that pate originally the dish was cooked in a pastry case.
Ew. I don't know how it got to this, but like we're done here, I think.
Yep.
We're getting
Yes.
off the island.
Yeah, I'm calling it. I'm calling it.
I'm voting you all off the island. Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Well, too
Fuck
bad we're
you.
coming for you if shit goes down.
Yeah, you already
Um,
invited us.
Yeah, you're our escape plan if shit goes down. Anyways, on that note, I think it's time to call it a night. Ash, any final thoughts from you?
I would just say to everyone, like, we're facing dark times right now, and there is a lot of fear out there. But as we even saw today, the fear doesn't always materialize, and so it's good to be prepared. So don't ignore the signals. Don't ignore your gut. but also don't let the fear get to you. It's better to be prepared, but don't get to a point where you're so afraid that you're not able to function properly. We have to keep plugging away and going forward, and find your people, meet people in person. It makes all the difference in the world to actually spend time with people who are like-minded, and recharge your batteries by being around people who have the same value system as you do. And let's just keep going. We're gonna get through this.
That's good advice. Suze, before I go to you, Jamie, anything from you?
Yeah, I'll add on to Ash what Ash said, and just don't let anybody convince you that you're a little old me and you can't change anything and you're powerless because you're just one person, because that's how they want you to feel. The people that are putting us through this business and what not, and we were talking about how do we battle back. Well, it's going to be a different rabbit hole for another episode, but we have to address the money system.
Yes.
A lot of choices depend on how much money someone has. So that's for another day. And go follow Perception Correction on Rumble and YouTube. That is all.
Ooh, thank you, Jamie.
And Twitter.
And Twitter,
yes,
correct.
And Twitter, yeah. And Suze, last but not least, what are you talking about? I know you talked about it a bit at the beginning, but what are you talking about for next week?
Wait, I wanted to add my final thoughts too.
Well, and your final thoughts, of course.
No, I just wanted to tie in on the fear thing. What Ashleigh was saying, like, it's yes, be smart and like be prepared, but don't let the fear control you and dictate your life. It's like, a quote that I really like, and I don't remember where the quote came from, but it's like, those who fear death die without knowing how to live, and it's like, don't live your life as if you're gonna die this moment, right? I actually want to get a tattoo that says that. But yeah, be prepared, because yes, you never know what might come, but don't be afraid every single moment of your life. Enjoy life, because tomorrow may be gone. You may be gone, right? Next week, we are going to talk about feminism and how we fucking got here and the shit show mess that it has turned into and the scam that it is. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Me too.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. This has been a pretty good chit chat, I think. And we will talk to everybody next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.